do is develop your time span. I'm glad you mentioned that, that's really important. Now, if you create your body at an angle similar to this, probably between 30 and 40 degrees at a slope, and you raise your heels higher than your belly button, put a pillow under your knees, and if you can relax in that position and put your mind in your time scan, and you repeat the mantra, basically that's what Rock will be telling you. And very important. So the timelessness is hard. I can't get you all to sit like boobies. Okay, so look, could you put your three fingers, your index finger and the other two fingers underneath it on the notch, so you're covering the time span, and just say the words. I mean, it's a bit awkward, but you can say it. Timelessness is hard.
Timelessness is hard. Timelessness is hard. Timelessness is hard. Timelessness is hard.
Now just keep the mind there and say the same thing. Timelessness is hard. 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 Okay. Now, if you can get into that posture and spend half an hour a day at that, or you can fall asleep like that. Just fall asleep like that. Now, Mark student, what's your name?
It's Lee.
Lee?
Yes.
Okay, Lee. Come over here.
The glass of water is fine.
Come over here, Lee. Will you grab on to it?
Yes.
And that one. Yeah. I'm just in a strange space. Okay, Lee. Now, what I want you guys to do is, if you push person, that's right. So you don't want long steps, long steps.
Okay.
And, in other words, the front heels are not that far into the back toes. So now I push you like this. So I yield. No. I'm going to yield this way. And you yield. Put your hand up to push me. You need to push what's there and what's offered to you. So I yield with care and I push with love. Where do you live, Lee?
South London.
You come a long way.
Yes. Yeah. I was there for days.
Good. Now, get a partner and let's try this together.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Only one of my students quite interesting. When people die, astrology, of course, is fascinating. But why is it we don't all learn astrology? And you know, it's not, at one point it was very relevant to people who were totally ignorant. And a little suspicion of the future went a long way. And they talked about the hour of your birth as set in your astrology chart. And that's interesting, but it's the wrong way around. Because it's not the hour of your birth that counts, but the hour of your death. Now, when you die, your heart stops beating. But that's not your actual death. The male and female principle separate. And there's a descent of fluid, the male and female principle, descending from the nose 2 or 3 days later, unspecified time. That's the time of your death. Now, there's another time at the other end, the time of your birth. There's a time when your male and female principles are floating about before they get together. And that's what I call pre-lifetime. Now, I think, could someone bring over my chair and let me sit with the little baby? So, one thing leads to another. And the hour of your death was my maternal grandmother's art. So she had what they call the second sight. And I inherited that from her. So I can always tell when someone's going to die. I don't want to know it. It's a burden. And usually I try to refuse it. And the interesting thing is that anybody that studies with me or has any real connection with me usually is going to live a relatively long life. But I can extend it. So the average person now will live into their 80s. The average person that comes to me, not the average person in the world, usually manages to make it to the 80s. And I can produce usually about another 10% on top of that. And that's pre-life energy. Now, the pre-life energy, by another description, is called the dark energy, or in my school it's called the dark energy. Now, when you're actually, and this gets to be quite subtle and interesting, and you need courage just to hear the bloody thing. Forgive me, I'm quite vulgar. And when you're born with your visible body, this body you can see in the mirror. And your first breath, without it you would die, is opening to the world. And you spend the rest of your life trying to stay open. It's not easy. And but at the same time as your body is being born, your visible body, there's another body being born, which I call the shadow body. It's got a lot in common with the visible body, but it's not the visible body. It's another body. And the visible body has this business of ancestors leading to destiny, or destiny leading to ancestors, which is quite clear. But the shadow body is not the same. The shadow body has connection with other people's ancestors. So you've got quite a web of connection with people. So much into my Tai Chi. And we became good friends. And he realized what I was doing was the same but different. And what's the problem with Om for most people is that they don't know where it is. It's like people don't know where the soul is. But if you like, I'll tell you where the soul is.
Yes, please.
is the third vertebra between the shoulder blades. And the Chinese say that the liver is the home of the soul. So if you can think of the soul somehow vibrating from the third vertebrae into the liver. So it's a beginning, because nobody can tell you what the soul is. It's all bullshit. The soul is something that goes to heaven. That's what I was told. The soul is the part that goes to heaven or hell or purgatory, whatever you say. And everybody has a clear idea of what spirit is, but they don't. Spirit flashes from the eyes. But it doesn't just flash from the eyes. People go drinking spirit. I must say, I didn't drink spirit, I used to drink beer. And I had to give it up. My father was very good with me. He said, John, you always overdo everything, including moderation. So I miss my dad every single day. But you've got this this bat, and the energy of the dark enters the stone, and somehow you develop a root. Now, generally speaking, in Tai Chi, the root is considered through the legs, and that's okay. You know, you can develop that if you do your Tai Chi well. You've got power. You know, as you hollow the chest around the shoulders, and you kind of behave like a strong. Then there's the an inch above the fourth eye. The fourth eye is very active in Indian meditation. The next one is called the chin tap. So, press down on the chin. Then you've got a little depression here, which I call sideburns. Tiny sideburns. And then I call the next one pharaoh beard. You just put the thumbs, just pressing it against it. And it activates the lower lip. The next is what I call five eyes. Your joints of the thumb against the top of your ear, and the index fingers coming against the skull. And you find two active points. That's it. You kind of waggle about till you find a bit of pain. And that's it. Now the next one is called the five, that's the five eyes. Then the six eyes, if you come down, that is your top joint of your tongue comes down, you bring it down to the nape, and then you come in a bit. The two big bones here, underneath them, there's a groove. You've got big bones here, there's the groove. Six sides. Then up a little bit, a couple of inches above. Something I call the spirit eyes. The spirit